Hello and welcome again. It is Matt with Magic Gaming Unlimited, here today to bring you our daily pack opening. Today is the 2014 core set. We're still waiting for Theros to come out, but each day the spoilers just get better and better, and I'm looking forward to opening this set on here for you guys. But let's get started with today's. I'm actually really enjoying the core set. For as long as it's been out, it is great limited play. Plus, there is a lot of good mythic rares in the set, especially for constructed, like the Archangel of Thun. Hopefully we can pull one, or a foil one if we're lucky. So, let's start with the first card, which is Time Ebb. It is blue. 2 for sorcery, put target creature on top of its owner's library. This is a great card for tempo, especially if it's delaying your death, or if it's slowing your opponent down enough for you to take the lead, or if you really want to get rid of a pesky creature that's enchanted, get rid of their enchantments, or get rid of it and counter that creature when it comes back down for its second time. It is a fine card, not first pickable, but I would definitely try to make room for it in my deck. The best decks for it is either red-blue or blue-black. Or blue-green actually can be, especially if you have a heavy creature count. The next card is Smelt. Red cost, instant, destroy target artifact. This card is actually almost unplayable in this format. It is a okay sideboard card. The only cards you really want to kill is Haunted Plate Mail and maybe a trading post. More than likely a trading post. But there's just not a whole lot of artifacts in the set. So it doesn't see much play. And if you're green or have access to green, more than likely you're going to run Naturalize over it. And if you have access to white, you're more than likely going to run Solemn's Offering just because it gives you a 4 life, plus targeting enchantments is relevant in the set. The next card is Ranger's Guile. It costs green, instant, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. This is a fine combat trick, and it can also stop removal from your opponent, which is very crucial. Or can also stop abilities from targeting your creature, such as Master Diversion targeting. Whenever it swings, it can tap a creature, and you can use your +1/+1 and hexproof to stop that ability so you can block with. It is a great card, and I would try to find room in my deck if I did get it. The next card is a Cursed Spirit, which is black 3 for a 3/2 Intimidate. This is a great card for any blue-black deck, black-white enchantment deck, or mono-black control, or just mono-black beats. Being Intimidate is basically unblockable. Black is a highly drafted set, but if you are able to squeeze the window to mono-black, this card is basically a 3/2 unblockable. That especially likes to get enchanted with Mark of the Vampire or any other sweet spells that will eliminate your opponent's life very quickly. It is first pickable if you want to go the mono black route. And it's a fine addition to any deck splashing black just because it could be unblockable. Sorry about that. I'll try to keep it more straight. Archaeomancer is the next card. It costs blue 2 for a 1/2. And whenever it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. This is a great for any control deck that wants to rebuy spells such as removal spells or draw spells. It is fine with drawing other tempo spells like Time Ebb or Disperse, and it can just help get your game back in your favor. It is a great card, not first pickable, but I would run it definitely. And I would run more than one copy. At max, I would go maybe 3, and that's if you have a lot of instant sorceries. This card can definitely change the game state as long as there are cards in your graveyard. The next card is Frontal Bore, which is a green 2 for a 2/2. You sacrifice Frontal Bore, you gain 4 life. This is a okay creature. The only decks I really like playing with it is in the Angelic Accord decks, just because it can turn into an angel. Other than that, there are a lot better green cost creatures for 3 that you could run, such as Abacab the Beast. And the gain 4 life is only semi-relevant if you're not in the core deck. It can determine games, but I would not run it unless you were low on creatures, to me. But it's a fine card. You can comment if you had amazing experiences with this, and if you run like 3 or 4 in your deck and you do good. But for me, that's not going to happen. But hey, let me know. You know, I'm always good on hearing stories about cards that I might not find great, but then you see someone else play with it and it might change my mind. The next card is Tome Scour, which costs blue sorcery. Target player puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. This card is a fine card in 30 pack sealed, but in a 40 card limited deck, I would not run this unless I had Jace. Milling's a okay strategy. You could make it work just because Millstone got moved down to an uncommon in this set instead of a rare, which uncommon is where it should be. But if you want to make mill happen, this would definitely be a card I would pick. Other than that, if I was just playing blue, I would try to stay away from it. The next card is Minotaur Abomination. It is black 4 for a 4/6. This card is high costed, but being with 6 toughness, it is very unlikely your opponent can smash through it. And being with 4 power, it is more unlikely able to attack your opponent and demand at least a 2-for-1 most of the time. Being black, you have a lot of access to kill spells or minus spells, just as the flesh card that gives -3/-1, that can especially set this up maybe for a possible 2 to 3-for-1. It is a fine card if you want to play one in a mono black deck or a high costed splash deck. But that's basically all there is to say about it. The next card is Sensory Deprivation. It is blue for an enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0. This is the enemy of the Accursed Spirit to me. Just because eliminating its power makes it almost a useless card. It can block. So it's like a pseudo pacifism. But it can stop an early beater, such as like Rootwalla or any creature, and just make it a blocker for them. It reminds me of the enchantment during Return of Eldrazi that gave it target creature a defender. Because basically it just removes it from attacking. It is a great card, and it would be considered a pseudo removal spell by all means. And it would be a consideration easily for the first couple of picks. And if I had room, I would definitely try to fit this card in if I drafted it. The next card is Act of Treason. It is red 2 for sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. This card is phenomenal in the red-black sacrifice deck that is highly drafted. Just because you have access to Blood Barons, The 4/2 vampire that sacrifices to regen, and the bombs of bombardment. 4 red, sacrifice it, deal 1 damage. There are so many ways to get rid of your creature's opponents, altars, reap, and all that when you act a treason it. And it's great for the red-green decks, just because they can play Balos like 4/4 and Root Rallas, and just smash you if they take your best creature from you, and just turn the game fully around. It is a great card. I would be hesitant if it wielded. I would definitely try to jump into a red color, just because it could be a game-changing card. And our first uncommon for this pack is Shimmering Rato. It is a land. Tap it, add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or you can pay 1 and tap this land and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. There are not a whole lot of mana fixers in the set, this being one of them. Especially if you're trying to go more than 2 colors, this card very well helps. As well as if you're going 2 colors and you have a lot of heavy costed cards like Planar Cleansing, which is triple, just because it helps kind of fix your mana. It is a fine card, and if you really need it, I would run it as a land slot. It doesn't take up too much room for being able to splash. The next card is Barrage of Expendables. I guess I was thinking of the older card when I talked about it earlier. This card is best for the red-black decks, just because you can active treason and do other kind of effects. Or you can always sacrifice like Tenacious Dead and stuff like that and re-get it, and being able to deal damage to players and or remove creatures is very relevant. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the set, and it's a fun card. It's not first pickable, but if you're feeling like a fun deck, you can first pick it and see where it goes. The next uncommon is Enlarge, which is a green 3 sorcery. Target creature gets +7/+7 and gains trample until end of turn. It must be blocked this turn if able. This card is a great first pick, especially being green. All your creatures are normally bigger, and making such a huge plus with trample and being a removal spell, even though it doesn't target. If they have 1 creature, you're going to get them. It is a great card, especially if you have like a Deadly Recluse and it has Death Touch. Just because the way Death Touch and Trample works, you only have to assign 1 point, which is lethal to the creature, and the other points would be trample damage to the player. Please be aware that being new players and stuff, with this card, just because it did come up in a draft with me, that my opponent chose to block with all his creatures instead of 1 creature, which he wasn't able to kill my creature, but he just thought it had to be blocked this turn if able, that it meant all creatures and not just 1 creature. Please remember you only have to block with 1, but blocking with more, if you can kill a creature, is okay to do. But it is a great card, and I love the art. I gotta say, it's just great. Nothing like a giant cat attacking. It looks like Merfolk. And our rare is Elite Arcanus. It is blue 3 for a 1/1. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant from your hand, pay X and tap it, copy the exiled card. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. This card is better for constructed than limited, just because it's a 1/1 that dies to almost anything. And removing a card from your hand can be quite dangerous, just because if they do have a removal, you're getting 2 for 1 off the go. But if you are able to play against a deck that doesn't have a lot of removal and this guy resolves, normally it can be a game-changing ability, especially if you put a powerful spell like Doomblade or Liturgy of Blood, or any removal spell in general, or even draw cards like Divination, Time Ab, Act of Treason. This card's very versatile. Or I guess you can't do a lot of those because those are sorcery. But, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but it is usable in this set. The only decks I played in really was fortified kind of decks, like blue, white flyers. But I normally wouldn't play this unless my opponent was lacking removal spells, because I don't like getting 2 for 1. The next card is a plane and a token. So here are our top 5 picks. My first pick in this draft would definitely have to be the Enlarge, though, just because it's a powerful ability and it's in green, which is one of my favorite colors for sure to draft because it seems to be the most powerful. That and blue. But thank you for watching. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And spread the word. Tell your friends to come check this out. I should be uploading new draft videos soon. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And please remember to subscribe and come back to see tomorrow's daily pack opening. Alright, thank you.